You're listening to the Monetizing Black Businesses Podcast, where Black-owned businesses receive sales and marketing advice for increasing efficiency, effectiveness, sustainability, and revenue. Greetings and welcome to the Monetizing Black Businesses Podcast, created by IMG Consulting here at consultimg.com. I'm your host, Vernita Sherman, and today is our very first podcast episode where I'm going to be discussing the 5 foundational business growth principles for long-term success. Now, before I get into the details of the topic for today's podcast episode, being that this is the very first episode, I want to go ahead and give you a brief introduction or overview of who we are. Who is IMG Consulting? What does IMG stand for? How did all of this come about? The Monetizing Black Businesses Podcast. What's going on here? Who are these people? Well, I want to go ahead and share that information with you right now. And if you don't want to hear it, you want to skip on to the actual topic for this episode, go ahead and skip approximately 10 minutes or so on the audio player, and you can dive right into the juicy details on this topic. But if you want to know who you're listening to, what we're all about, what we stand for, why we're here, then I suggest that you go ahead and don't skip and just listen to what I have to say to you briefly. I'm going to spend, again, approximately 10 minutes or so sharing with you who we are. All right, so first and foremost, IMG Consulting is going through a rebranding stage. IMG Consulting used to be a company that provided services related to government contracts. So individuals that wanted to acquire government contracts, IMG Consulting had all the solutions as it relates to that. And our president and CEO, Harold Cosby, was the president and CEO at that time as well. This is something that Harold has headed up for several years. Now, even though government contracts was the primary focus at the time, over the years, Harold also started offering private consultations related to sales and marketing. And at that time, IMG stood for Impact Marketing Group. Now, approximately a year and a half ago, IMG Consulting went on a hiatus. And so different people within the company started focusing on different things, including Harold. During this hiatus, myself and others that are on the team now had met Harold, and we met in another organization that all of us had synchronistically came together, because it all happened for a reason and for a purpose that's much bigger than any of us really realized at the time. So initially we were clients and students, and in some cases customers of this organization. And we all came in at different times and all met at different times. And like I said, synchronistically, we all came together. We knew that individually that, there were issues with the organization as far as how things were run. And we wanted to help resolve these issues because we wanted this organization to thrive. It did so much for us, and we loved the vision. And so we wanted to help. And we all had experience with running our own businesses, as well as the experience that we've developed and skills we've developed over the years when it came to business operations and marketing and sales and so forth, and customer service and everything. And so we decided to become volunteers. And again, this is all at different times. It wasn't like we all met and then, we're going to volunteer. It was all at various different times. But we all came together and we worked in this organization very closely together, and we completely restructured everything. I mean, there was plans for everything. We were very strategic about how we did things. We came together and created systems, and those systems consisted of a process for handling everything. I mean, we came together and we thought of everything. Okay, so what if this happens? What if that happens? What's going to be the process for A? What's going to be the process for B? And so the key thing here is that we all came together as one and worked together as a team to turn this organization around. And the sales went through the roof because not only did we work together as a team, but the stuff that we focused on the people. We focused on providing excellent customer service. And that was something that this particular organization was lacking for a long time. Getting back to people. I mean, stuff was literally all over the place and we had to restructure everything. So we all had different experiences, different backgrounds and different skills when it comes to sales, when it comes to marketing, when it comes to business development and strategic planning and customer service. Customer service is key. That's something that's very important as well. So we took all of our skills, came together, decided how we were going to do things, and we just implemented the plan that we came together and created. And things started to run way more efficiently, and we were more productive in how we were doing things because of the systems that we put in place. So after a few months of working together and seeing how we were able to completely turn this organization around, it was incredible, actually. Harold had an idea of, he just came out and said, we could do this for other businesses. We could do this for other companies. We could do this for other individuals. And so I thought it was a great idea at the time. Others thought it was a great idea, but it was just an idea. It's not something that we actually went ahead and moved forward with. So fast forward many, many months later, and that idea became a reality. And there were some very synchronistic occurrences throughout those months, which actually had been almost a year, that led to that initial idea becoming a reality. Now, one thing that was important for me, once we decided that we're really going to do this, it was important that we focus on our people, melanin dominant people, melanated people, Black folks, okay? Especially conscious folks, because see, the key to shifting this reality we live in right now, the key to bringing order to this chaotic world we live in is for the original people of this world, of these lands, us, melanated people, reclaiming our throne. And I'm not talking about Africa. I'm talking about this whole planet, all of the land on it, every continent. We have got to become the leaders of this planet again. When anything is out of its natural order, there's chaos. So of course this planet is chaotic because the ones running the systems we all live under colonized, enslaved, demeaned, suppressed, and completely manipulated the original natural leaders of these lands, us. Now, one thing I'm not going to do is get all caught up in who did what to who, why it happened, and they did this to us and they should pay for this and all that. I'm not getting into all of that, and we're not going to get into all of that here at IMG Consulting. What we are going to do is focus on us. We're going to focus on building and supporting each other and creating things for ourselves. We're focused on assisting you with building and growing and achieving leadership status in your industry by providing you with business growth solutions that last long term so that you can reclaim your position as a leader on this planet long term. This isn't about giving you a few tips and some advice that's going to give you a temporary boost in sales, a temporary boost in your profits and on your bottom line. It's not about temporary. This is about long term, which is why we use strategies, sales and marketing strategies and techniques that have stood the test of time. Not some old trendy thing that's here today, gone tomorrow, some fly by night type of stuff. No, we use strategies that will provide you with sustainability. We show you how to build strong business operation foundations, a strong foundation, not some old weak thing that's going to fall apart in a couple of years. Your success is our success as a people, as melanated people on this planet, reclaiming our natural positions as leaders on this planet. And that brings me to another point. There is a complete shift in consciousness that needs to happen here with our people. We've got to stop looking at each other as competition. We've got to stop being jealous. We've got to stop taking each other's stuff and then claiming it as our own. Because look, you have no competition. Every single one of us have something special to bring to the table because every single one of us has gifts and talents because we are naturally like that. And that whole thing about too many chiefs and not enough Indians, why can't all the chiefs get together and work in harmony with each other? Everyone has something to bring to the table. There's no need to try to control anyone else. Just bring what your skill is, what your gift is, what your main talent is to the table. Someone else brings theirs, someone else brings theirs, someone else brings theirs. And all of y'all work together as a group, as a team, in harmony with each other, a group of leaders, a council, a board, whatever you want to call it. You work in harmony with each other as the wonderful, powerful, beautiful, creative, melanated people that you are. Always remember, you have no competition. There could be 10, 15, 20, 50 people that do the exact same thing that you do, but you still have no competition. Why? Because all of you are not going to resonate with the same group of people. Group A may love how you do things, but Group B not so much. Group B may love how someone else does something, but Group A not so much because Group A prefers you, and so on and so forth. You don't need to have all the group's attention. There's enough people in the group that adores you for you to be successful. There's enough success for all of us. Success is not limited to certain people. So when any melanated person is successful, we all are successful. We've got to look at the bigger picture here. There's no room for jealousy. A true leader is not jealous of anyone because a true leader knows their worth. All right, so as a people, we've got to shift our consciousness and start supporting each other, caring about each other, focusing on each other, helping each other build and create and sustain our greatness. We are the original people. It's time we start acting like it and come together as one powerful force that no one or nothing can tear apart. So the IMG in IMG Consulting now stands for Impacting Melanated Groups, because that's what we're all about. Now, to be clear, the reason why you see on our site where it says Black businesses or Black companies, or you may hear us use the term Black, is because that's a term that's universal and everyone knows what it means. Not everybody is familiar with the term melanated or melanin dominant. And I know there are some people listening that are offended by the word Black, but there are also those who have never used the term melanated before or melanin dominant before. And so universally, by using the word Black, everyone knows who we're talking about. So I just wanted to say that to clarify things in case you were wondering. So this podcast, Monetizing Black Businesses, is all about supporting you with reclaiming your status as a leader on this planet and being successful in your business by building a strong foundation for your business, a foundation that isn't going anywhere. It's a solid foundation that it will stand the test of time and will always be there for years to come. We, of course, have paid solutions. If you want us to get in depth and dive into really getting into your business and restructuring things and assisting you one-on-one and implementing some of the things that we suggest to you, we offer that. But this podcast is a way for you to get tips and advice that you can implement without having to pay anything, because there's a lot to learn, okay? There is a lot to this. And there are some things, some basic foundational principles that is very important for you to know and understand or overstand before you take it to the next level and receive paid assistance from us. So we don't want to leave anyone out. If you have a business that you need assistance with and you're not ready to take it to the level that we will elevate you to with our paid services, you still have an opportunity to receive assistance from us by simply listening to this podcast and checking out the resources that we have on our resource page that's available to our subscribers. All you have to do is visit us here at consultimg.com and you'll see where it says stay informed. Enter your name and email address into the form and you'll be on our VIP contact list. You'll have access to the subscriber only area, which is our resource page that we're continuously updating. We've just launched it and we have a few things in there for you. But of course, we will be adding more information in there for you, more outlines and checklists, and all of our webinar replays will be in there. So far, we have one webinar replay at the time of this recording, and the only way that anyone can get access to our replays now is by becoming a subscriber, which of course, again, is 100% free. As far as how often we're going to be podcasting, approximately once a week. So make sure that you stay tuned for that, and we will notify you via email every time a new podcast episode has been published on our site. You may also listen to this podcast in iTunes, or as Apple calls it now, Apple Podcasts, as well as some other podcasting directories. And you'll see a list of those directories on our site under each podcast episode. And the easiest way to get to each podcast episode is to simply go to consultimg.com/episode and the number. So for an example, this podcast episode is consultimg.com/episode 1. All right, so that was the overview of who we are, what we stand for, how all of this came about. And this went a little longer than I anticipated, but I felt it was important for you to know more about us and get an understanding or overstanding of how we think and why we do what we do. So moving right along into the topic for this podcast episode, I'm now going to share with you the 5 foundational business growth principles for long-term success. So number 1 is you must create optimized online properties. So what do I mean by optimized? I mean optimized for visibility, credibility, shareability, and conversions. So part of visibility is making sure that every property you create, whether it's your own website or whether it's on social media, everything you create, you keep in mind that you want it to be visible in the search engines. And to be clear, I'm not just talking about the search engines that we all are familiar with, like Google and Yahoo and so forth. I'm also talking about the search engines that are within social platforms as well. YouTube has their own search engine. Facebook has their own search engine. All of these properties have their own internal search engine. So I mean optimizing for all of them. So make sure that you have keywords, words that are similar or the same as the words that your target audience types in when they search for things online. You want to make sure those words are used in the various different content areas on the platforms that you create your properties on. So for an example, Facebook. There's an about section and there's a story section. Make sure that you have keywords in there that's related to what your target audience types in when they search for things online. And the same thing for when you post content on Facebook. Even in your videos, make sure you're using the keywords, the words that are similar or the same as the words that your target audience types in when they search for things online, things that they are interested in, things that they're looking for they're seeking help for. You want to make sure that you use these phrases in everything that you do online, on every property, Twitter, YouTube, everything, just everything. In the audio, the things that you say, in the video, the things that you say, also, of course, most definitely in your written content. And this brings me to another point. I mentioned Facebook because I know a lot of people are on Facebook, so I mentioned that first. But it's important that you understand that your main online property, your online home, the main place where you want to send people to is your own website, not Facebook, not Twitter, not Instagram, not YouTube, not a blogger blog, none of these other places, because see, you don't have any control over that. Those properties will assist with visibility, credibility, and shareability, but not with conversions. And conversions is the key because you want to turn your people that follow you into leads, your leads into prospects, and your prospects into clients. And your own website is very important for that. Okay, so the very first thing that you want to create is your own online property that you have control over before you do anything with Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and all the rest of them. Okay. And a lot of businesses are doing things backwards. What they do is they start with Facebook, purchase a domain name, and some people don't even purchase a domain name, but those who do, and they forward that domain name to a Facebook page and use that temporarily as a website. That is a huge mistake. Huge mistake, because you've got to understand something. And let me tell you this. I've been marketing online since 2003, before social media was even a phrase. So I've seen what can happen when social media does not like you anymore. And basically what I'm saying is there's social networks out there that still exist today that you may say something, do something, you'd have no idea what it is that you said or did that triggered their systems to put your stuff in a state of being frozen or your account being deleted altogether. Then you got to send all these various different support requests and, what's going on, why did this happen, and so on and so forth. But you got to remember, you're not paying them anything. All of this is free. They can do whatever they want to your account. And most people don't even read the terms of service. Please know that when you put content on all these various different social properties, that content is not yours anymore. It's theirs. They have control over it. And they can do anything they want. People's accounts have been frozen. Accounts have been shut down. I'm talking about Facebook and YouTube now, and there's others as well. But there's also have been posts that have been removed for whatever reason. And there's no point in getting upset about it because it's their property. They can do whatever they want to it, which is why you've got to build your own property and build your assets on your own land, so to speak. Create content, put it on your site, and then use social media as a means to syndicate your content, because your followers and the people that are interested in purchasing from you or interested in information that you share or interested in your mission, your message, what have you, most definitely is on social networking sites for sure. So you definitely want to be there, but don't build your home on those networks because you're building on a weak foundation, and the foundation is weak because you have no control over it. Build on your own site. You have your videos, blog posts, other content, podcast episodes, audio lessons, whatever you have that you want to share. Put it on your own site first, then you share it and syndicate it to those other properties. Therefore, if anything ever happens on those other properties, anything, YouTube takes one of your videos down, Facebook freezes your account, or takes some of the messages, the posts that you have and removes them for whatever reason, no problem. People know to go to your site to get the content. That's what you want to do. Now, I see people all the time using Facebook as their main property. And I'm telling you, you don't want to train the people to get information from you on Facebook. You want to train people to come to your site, to your home that you have control over. Please know that, some of you haven't been doing this for a long time when it comes to using social media. So you don't remember how it was back in the day before Facebook pushed their advertising so much. Because really, Facebook is more or less an advertising platform at this point. Not everybody who follows you will see your posts. It used to be that whoever followed you saw whatever you post in their newsfeed. Things changed around 2010. Around that, I may have the year wrong. It's been a long time. Maybe it was 2011. May have been the end of 2009. But around that time, things started to change. And Facebook created these algorithms. And it's fine. I mean, they're a business. So businesses, they're in business to make money and to assist people as well. But if a business isn't making any money, how are they going to be able to sustain their business if every single thing is free? And, so I understand why they did what they did, but it's important that people understand what they're doing before you use a platform thinking that you're going to get all these benefits and really it's not beneficial for you at all. Please know that when you post a post on Facebook, all of your followers are not going to see that post. Only some of them will see it. Now, if you want majority of them to see it, you have got to promote that post by paying for it. That's why you see every time you are getting ready to post something or various different things you want to do inside of Facebook, there's always these messages showing up, enticing you to pay for it so that you can get more exposure and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, you do get more exposure, but it doesn't make sense that you are building your main home or your main virtual business location on another platform where the only way that the majority of people that follow you can see everything that you post is by paying for it. When all they have to do is just come to your site and they can see everything you post without you having to pay for almost all your posts in order for people to see it. So why are you putting yourself in that situation? Why not have everyone come to your own site where everyone who's following the site or comes to that post will most definitely see it without you having to pay for it? So I went off on a little tangent there, but it's important for you to understand that there's a lot of things that have changed in social media, and there's reasons why things are free. And you've got to know the main reasons behind it. Facebook is an advertising platform right now, and it's a very good one. However, there are some things you need to know when it comes to the leads that you get from Facebook. They take a long time to convert. They convert into leads fast, but not so much into buyers. And that's the key. You want them to convert into buyers, not just leads. And it takes a while to convert a large percentage of them into buyers for several different reasons that I will go over at another time. And advertising really is not necessary on Facebook or otherwise when you have a strong content marketing strategy that you use in your business. So again, I'm going to talk about those things at another time in more detail. And it's really going to be an eye-opening information that you're going to receive as it relates to that, because I see a lot of businesses making mistakes when it comes to social media and relying on social media for everything. But for now, I just wanted to be clear and say to you that anytime you create a profile or content added to your own site online, you think about visibility. You think about search engine optimization. You think about using words that relate to what your target audience is searching for when they go online. You think about credibility. So make sure that every property you have online has some substance. Make sure that there are pictures or images that represent your business and that you have content that really represents what you stand for. And don't just throw anything up there. I mean, you want to be looked at as a credible source in your industry. So be mindful of what you put out there online. And then when it comes to shareability, make sure that on the properties you have content on, that there's a way for people who are following you to be able to share your content with their followers. And of course, with social media, that's not an issue. As you know, all of the major networks have a way for your followers to share with their followers and so on. And when it comes to your website, make sure that you include social sharing buttons on the pages of your site that include the content that you want shared out there on other social networks and other places online. And lastly, when you create these properties, you must have conversions in mind, because that's the point. You want to convert people into buyers. So there's a process for that. And the first step to that is converting them into leads first. So what are you doing on these properties to make that a reality? How are you optimizing the properties for conversions, turning the followers into leads? And you also want to think about, are these people high quality leads that will convert into buyers later on? Or are they low quality leads that take a long time to convert into buyers? Or are they the type of leads that are just going to sit on your list and do nothing, which I call dead leads? So you got to think about the quality of the leads that you attract. All right. And certain online properties produce higher quality leads than others. So it's important for you to know and understand that as well. All of these things are very, very important. And again, in other podcast episodes, I'm going to break it down for you. This one is more of an overview of the principles. So conversions leads me into number 2, the second principle, which is you must build a list. A list that contains the emails of the people who are interested in your offers, people who have shown interest, people who have visited your site, or the people who have gone to your social media profiles and viewed your posts. You want to get these people on a list so that you can build a relationship with them, build a relationship with your target audience and gain their trust. And this will turn more of your website visitors, more of your social media followers into leads, these leads into prospects, and the prospects will eventually become customers and clients. But the key is establishing a relationship with people. And there's no way to do that if you just throwing advertisements in their face all day long and think they're going to buy something. Some people may buy, but majority of the people are not going to buy on the first time. It's just not going to happen. So you've got to establish a relationship with them. All right. And you may already be establishing a relationship with people already on social media. They may be sending you private messages and you going back and forth through using various different messaging services on various different networks, or, people are starting to trust you on social media. But again, you've got to understand what's going on here. A lot of you are not aware of the fact that there are many businesses whose accounts have been shut down or frozen. And if that were to happen and you have a list, you have nothing to worry about because you still have a way to communicate with your followers via email or via text messaging or via regular mail, depending on what the type of list that you're building. I suggest you start out doing it through email. That's the easiest way to start, and you can build upon that. But what I'm saying here is that it takes more than just communicating via the tools that the various different social platforms have for you to use, because you do not have control over that. I've seen so many businesses and solopreneurs, especially, whose accounts have been deleted, frozen, shut down. I'm going to continue to say this all the time because there's a lot that's going on that people are not aware of. Just because you don't know anyone who that's happened to doesn't mean it doesn't happen. I've seen it happen to a lot of individuals and a lot of businesses. So if you have a list of leads, you don't have to worry if that were to happen to you because you have another means of communicating with people in a way where there's no distractions. That's another thing. There's all kinds of distractions online. When you're communicating with people through email, you don't have all those distractions. People are more focused on your message and what you're saying. They're also more focused when they come to your site and get information on your site, on your blog, as opposed to from a Facebook post where all kind of stuff is popping up in their newsfeed. Okay. So please, please, please keep that in mind. It's very, very important that you build a list. All right, so moving on to the third principle, and that is you must create and syndicate content. And I mentioned that before. So what do I mean by this? Creating quality content that you publish on your site and then syndicate it all over the internet in various forms so that you will increase visibility, credibility, and authority. So we talked about visibility and credibility. But the authority part I didn't mention. I want to mention this. It's very important that you understand this as well. How much authority do you think you'll have to the people in your target audience if all you do is simply post pictures and share pictures and maybe a little message and that's it, compared to giving them something of substance, something that they can learn from? More content, information that assists and help them overcome something, a challenge that they may have. Okay, so posting images, flashy images of yourself or the people on your team and then posting a little quote with it and all of that, that's cute and all. And yeah, fine, do that. People like that. But when it comes to looking at you as an authority in your industry, you need to give people something of substance as well. All right, content that they can chew on, not a little taste of this and a little taste of that. Give them something that really shows that your company is a leader in your industry. Content that showcases your business's expertise and how knowledgeable all of you that are in that business are about a particular subject. All right, so moving on to the fourth principle, you want to make sure that you test, track, evaluate, and adjust everything that you do in your business. So let's say that you want to promote a particular new line of products that you have coming out. You want to test how you do your promotions, all right? You want to track everything, all right? Where are the leads coming from? Where are the buyers coming from? Where are the people, the visitors coming from? Where are these people coming from? And how far along do they go in the process in your sales funnel? All right, so you test it, you track your promotions, you evaluate, you sit down and look at the numbers, and then you make adjustments accordingly. How many people on your leads list converted into buyers? And out of those people, those buyers, what percentage came from social media? What percentage came from another promotion that you were doing offline? Maybe it's an event that you spoke at. You've got to know these things so that you know where to spend your energy as it relates to how you are building revenue for your business. What marketing strategies are most effective in your business? Now, you may be using some marketing strategies or even advertising techniques that increased your sales by 25% as an example. And you love this strategy because your sales increased by 25%. And so you stay there and you don't test other ways of doing things. And see, you may be missing out on a strategy that may increase your sales by 60, 70% because you're not testing. You're just stuck on one way of doing it. So you're not going to know unless you test and then track and then evaluate the numbers. And then, of course, if you're big on advertising, it's extremely important that you test and you track everything because you could be losing a lot of money right now. But you're not going to know if you don't track. So you've got to track everything. Where you place things, you have to track your promotions. You have to track what works best for your particular audience. Some people may like it this way. Some people may like it that way. You've got to test it. And you cannot really have a test that's really going to tell you anything unless you track so many different things. So you have to have tracking software. All right. The two most important types of tracking software that you want to have is website analytics software, as well as your email marketing system tracking software. Okay. And there's other things you can use as well. And of course, evaluate. Sit down and look at your numbers. Sit down and look where people are coming from, how this is working, how that's working, and make the adjustments. And every time you adjust, you go through the same process of testing that adjustment, tracking it, and evaluating. You always want to do this continuously. This is not something you do one time. You always continuously do this with everything that you do in your business. All right? Very, very, very important if you want to increase profit, not just sales, but actual profit. How much of your revenue is profit versus revenue that's going to be spent on all these expenses because you haven't been tracking anything and you don't know where you're losing money. All right. If you want to be in business long term, you've got to test, track, evaluate, and make adjustments so that you can increase your profit, your take home money, your bill paying money, your personal bill paying money. I'm not just talking about the business expenses. How much money do you have for yourself? And how much do your employees or your business partners have for themselves to be able to live the lifestyle that you want to live? That's key. You know, so many people are like, oh, I know so-and-so, they're making all these sales because they did this particular strategy. They used that particular advertising technique. They did this, they did that. Yeah, people are they're very open about how much sales they make. And they'll talk about all this revenue they're generating, all this 6-figure this and 7-figure that. You see it all online all the time. How much of that is profit? Are they telling you that? How much of that is profit? That's the important thing right there, okay? All right, so number 5, the last very important foundational principle when it comes to long-term business success. You must create systems for every operational area within your business. You want to be more organized and have your business run more efficiently. You want to be able to provide good customer service so that people don't have to wait forever to get products from you and then go around talking about how black folks always got to wait for them. They take forever. That's why I don't like dealing with black businesses. You know, poor customer service. Nobody gets back with you. No one answers the phone, all that other kind of stuff. You want to clean that up? Create systems for every operational area in your business so that your business will run more efficiently, so that things will operate more smoothly. All right, so what you want to do is you want to think of what you want to happen, the result, and how you want it to happen, and create a strategy from that. Then you think of the specifics on how to make it happen, so those processes and the procedures. And then use tools to automate your processes. So once you've mapped out the details of the process used within each system, you can then look for tools that assist with automating those processes so that you'll be more productive. Now, the key to all of this, though, is maintaining your standards. So if you set a standard, you have processes and systems in place, you want to maintain that. Don't just fall back to the way things were before and everything's disorganized and all over the place. You want to keep your systems intact, all right? And so you want to make sure that the people working with you follows the procedures that have been set in place all the time. All the time. All right, that concludes this episode of the Monetizing Black Businesses Podcast. Again, this is Vernita Sherman here at consultimg.com, and I want to thank you for listening. Make sure you stay tuned for our next podcast episode that's coming real soon. All right, I'll see you then. Peace and love.